What do you want to know?
You look like a true, authentic New Yorker.
I had to take it to a new level. You have to be on your game or else you're going to get exposed. Here's the story. Don't feel any pain, you just pull the trigger from a distance. Find it! You remember how to use this? Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm very happy to be here. Appreciate you.
What is the craziest thing you've done to prepare for a role?
After so many decades in the business, I've done a few crazy things. From putting stones in shoes to create an uncomfortable walk and a limp. Oh, you like that one?
Hold on, you put stones inside of your shoe.
Yeah, I just heard someone do it when I was young and I thought, I don't want to fake limp this whole movie, pretend I'm limping. So I put some big ass stones in one of my shoes and it was extremely uncomfortable and I didn't have to act.
Wow.
Well, there's one. I got one.
Love it. What is one role that you've booked that completely changed your life in the acting world?
Well, that's another good question because there's variables of answering that, meaning career-wise, that's one thing, but changed me as an actor and as a person. I would say The Offer, which I did just recently with Miles Teller and Dexter Fletcher. The process was incredible, the pressure was incredible, and I had to take it to a new level, and I did, and it was an achievement that I felt really proud of that gave me a lot of confidence to push forward in my career. Proved to me that I can play with any big boys on the planet.
What was it that made it such a difficult role?
Well, doing these independent films are completely different to walking on a studio lot and playing with the A-listers. The preparation, the money at hand, the build-up, the process, which I love. So yeah, there's a lot at stake when you're in a big arena, basically. So you have to be on your game or else you're going to get exposed.
So you were in an arena?
Well, no, it's a metaphor, meaning I love the big arena as in...
Wait, where?
Yeah.
Precious. I thought it was the film.
Precious. Yeah, you get it now. It's like playing with the big boys. As far as doing all these independent films, which are great, I learned a lot. You work on your craft, and then you get to play in the big arena, so to speak, which is the studio stuff with the A-listers. It's a different ballgame.
It's so inspiring, and I want to show our viewers here that anything is possible, because you came from, where did you come from? You're not even from LA.
No.
We'll talk about that in a second, but I wanted to tell you guys a little something. Fun fact, he was up for the role on Friends. Can you guess which role? Anyone?
Give me a piece of pizza, will you?
Joey. You were supposed to play Joey in Friends.
Well, it's funny because I didn't know all of that until they had the reunion. I remember going up and auditioning 3 or 4 times, and I knew I was close, but there was a lot of other people that were close as well. But I didn't know how close I was. I didn't know that I actually had the role until the next day. Matt LeBlanc, who's a dear friend of mine, I've known him for a long time. He's a wonderful human being. And just to make it clear, there's no one for that role other than Matt. That cast was meant to be the cast, and that's how it is. But yeah, I got real close, and Matt took it last second through his presence and his genius. But it was quite an experience to hear it years later. I didn't know back then. I only after the reunion when I saw all these tests and messages. So it was pretty cool.
I found out that you actually had the role. That's what they wrote up. If that's all true, you had the role. I did a lot of digging.
Okay. I heard similar stuff, and then he went in the next day and they said, we're going with him because of ABC.
Yeah, something happened with him that he's supposedly like, oh, why is your nose Matt
Black
LeBlanc?
eye.
Yeah, why is your nose messed up?
Yeah.
And he went and said, oh, I fell in a toilet and it bumped my nose. Like, okay, he got the role.
You did some research.
I did. It's just so crazy how something could be yours and it could be taken, but in reality, it was
never meant to be yours.
It was never meant to be yours. And I like to look at everything as a learning lesson, and it's just not your path. I think that you were meant and destined to create film and do other things in the world. And I see you winning your Oscar. I see so much happening because I've watched your film. I watched your acting, and it is so authentic and so genuine that it's very hard to match up to. So anyone who plays opposite you, they got to bring their A game.
Thanks for that. That's nice to hear. Appreciate it, Athena. Yeah.
How does it make you feel knowing that that could have been yours?
The Joey thing? Like you said, doesn't bother me at all. I'm very happy with what's happened since then. And I openly admit that that cast was meant to perform those roles, and I had a different path in life and in my arts. And through that, I've achieved a lot of interesting things. I've traveled the world. I'm directing, I'm producing, I'm illustrating, I'm an oil painter. You know, I had a chance to explore a whole new world as well as the acting world. And I always say to myself, that would have been a different journey. It wasn't my journey, it wasn't my walk.
Sometimes in life, we may think that we are going down a right path and, okay, this is the path for me, this is what I want. But then along the way, you end up doing something that you would have never thought or expected. And that was actually always meant to be your path. And but you actually did become a guest star on Friends a few episodes later.
Yeah, well, that's a good story, and not many people know the truth behind that, but I got a call on a Friday afternoon, and they said there were 4 guys coming in to audition for Joey's twin. So I was one of them. We went there, and it was one of those auditions where they said, everyone stay, because, you know, generally with acting, you go home, you find out a day, a week later. But they said, no, we're taking the winner right to set. So we all went in for the audition, and they said, everyone go home, Louis Mandylor, you're going to set.
Wow.
So it happened like that, and it was just such a great experience. But what people don't know, we had the curtain call for the episode, and Kevin Bright and a few of the other producers approached me as we were waving to the crowd, and they said, we have great news. There's 7 episodes, an arc, because they all have their storylines. They have different storylines that they, you know, have options of going with. And they said, you've been hired for 7 episodes, and Joey books a show and you're his stand-in and you destroy his life. And they also said, we never thought we'd find anyone dumber than Joey. That was the biggest compliment. So I called my manager, the deal was getting set up, and then Monday morning they called and they said, sorry, Lewis, we've been after Bruce Willis for about 4 years, and he just made himself available, so we're dropping your storyline and we're going with Bruce. So I got bumped for Bruce. But it's another great story. Who gets bumped for Bruce?
Man, Friends is iconic.
It is.
You go to Warner Brothers studio lot, and then there's a whole shrine on Friends.
Yeah.
Fucking shrine.
And so
of
there
Friends.
should be. What a game changer. What a show. And the funny thing is, I only ended up doing 1 episode, but I still, 15 years later, I still get stopped by the fanatical, loving fans, and they're like, Joey's twin.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I say.
You know, I really commend you for how you chose to see the situation, because most actors, if anyone knows, they're very prideful, and it's like they're going to be very salty afterwards, and they're going to be very upset that they didn't get the role. Like, yeah, fuck this job. Yeah, who needs them anyway? But you're like, bravo, this is my friend. Yeah, these are my people. Just wasn't my path.
That's it.
Which makes you stand out from everyone else, which I love. And I'm sure that's what everyone else respects about you, and that sets you apart from the next person.
Thank you for that.
But I want to insert a little clip here. Let's watch Joey. Or should I say Louis Mandylor?
Hey, man. Hey, Chin. Just getting a soda.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Joey. How are you doing?
No. How you doing? What? How you doing? Damn it, Carl. Go wait in the hall. Look, I gotta apologize on behalf of Carl.
Who the hell is Carl?
Oh, did I not mention? Carl is a guy I hired to be my identical twin for a medical research project.
You know, sometimes the good ideas are just right in front of you, aren't they?
I know it sounds crazy, but I think it might work, you know? But the only problem is Carl's acting is...
The only problem?
Yeah, he's the reason I didn't get that big Minute Maid commercial a couple years ago, remember? We were supposed to be brothers, but he messed it up.
Hey, can I get a little piece of that cake?
Pizza! We like pizza! Get out! All right, Carl, we're next. Now remember, what is this not gonna be?
Another Minute Maid fiasco.
That's right. What are you not gonna do?
Well, I'm not gonna talk because...
Damn it, Carl!
Oh my God, that was so fucking cool.
A lot of fun. I think what got me the job was the flinch. Because when he says, Joe, I flinch. We like pizza. You know, I say, how are you doing instead of how you doing? And he says, no, 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 no. And I go close and he says, how you doing? And I kept flinching and they were laughing. When I saw them laughing at the flinches, I kind of knew I had it.
What I loved was that it was so funny seeing you walk in the door. Like, I loved how your hair was all parted and you look like Joey, but you had your own little essence about you, which I love so much. And you guys are similar, but also very different. You have a very different energy and a very different presence that you bring to camera. And it's very obvious that you had your own path and you just blessed friends for a few episodes. You say, okay, here's some of Mr. Mandylor's good work, and now I'll see you on the big screen.
And yeah, I like to think that. And they also blessed me by allowing me to be part of that iconic, wonderful family.
I loved Friends growing up. It was, it's like almost an escape. You know, you come home, you just want to relax after a really hard day, and then you put on the show, you see somebody...
I'll tell you, you reminded me of something. You know what it's like? They shot an episode, if any of the friends will remember this for sure, but Joey was overseas or something, and he was homesick, and he was watching Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and he started to cry. It's the same thing about Friends. Because I spent a lot of time in Europe now, the last 15 years, I've been spending a lot of time in Europe, and when Friends comes on, yeah, man, it's a little touch of home. And it feels good. So I reflect on Joey's episode because Cheers was one of my favorite shows too. But yeah.
So you're not only known for Friends, you're also very, very well known for the most famous Greek movie ever, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
You know, I gotta tell you, I've never seen my sister so happy. If you hurt her, I'll kill you and make it look like an accident. Hey, Ian, Jesus, look at your face. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Good one.
No, the good one is I got a gun. Yeah, I got a gun, and I swear I'll jam it right up your... Ian, I got you again. I got you again, Ian.
Here, eat some rice. I don't want to... I'm good, dear. I'm good. You know what I'm going to... I could slap you like a chicken.
Come on, lighten up. Lighten up. I'll lighten you. I'll lighten you when I take out your kidneys.
Oh, hey.
One more time, Ian. Hey, Angelo. Hey, Ian. We're gonna kill you. Opa!
Okay, go. Ian, are you hungry?
No, I already ate.
Okay, I'll make you something.
Okay.
Now, tonight, we have to have tamikasimatis.
Hey, Ian, let me help you with those.
What is wrong with Tommy Casamadas? I don't know them, okay? Well, who cares? They're related to me. Why are you being so weird? I'm not being weird. Yes, you are. You're weird when you're pregnant with your
Ooh,
Ian, eat.
How do you say thank you in Greek?
Ωραία βυζιά.
Oreia vizia.
That's it, you got it.
Oreia vizia.
There.
These are some of my cousins.
Hey, Ian. Eric, good to see you, man. Listen, you know, I really think you should say Έχω τρία αρχίδια. It means everyone that's come in the house. I think everybody will really like it.
Echo Treo Orhidia?
Yeah, that's good. Very good. You got it.
I'm not falling for that again, Nick.
What?
Yeah, what? Angelo, how do you say, everyone, let's go in the house?
Έχω τρία αρχίδια.
Everyone! Echo Treo Orhidia.
How did you get cast for that role?
Audition. Okay. Yeah, just an audition, and I got the gig.
Did you know somebody that gave you the audition, or was it straight through your agent?
Just the agent called. I think they wanted to see a lot of Greek actors.
Okay.
And I was one of them, and they seemed to like what I did. God bless them. and I got the opportunity to be part of this wonderful Greek family.
So when I met you, you had a very heavy Australian accent, and I didn't recognize you from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And I'm like, this is a totally different guy. You know, he looks the same, he looks similar, but got an Australian accent. I'm like, where are you from? You're like, Australia. I'm like, okay. Then I find out everyone's taking pictures with you. I'm like, who is this guy over here?
We were at the church, and all the papadas were taking photos of me, right? That was a great day. I love those
I'm
guys.
like, wait a minute, there's something going on over here.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then you talk in your voice, a different voice, and I'm like, wait a minute. How'd you just go from Australia to New York like that? Can you do it for me?
What do you want to know? I'll poke a hole in somebody right now. Let me tell you something.
I can't believe, you know, I'm born and raised in New York. I'm hardcore from Queens and Long Island. You really fooled me. On My Big Fat Greek Wedding, I thought nobody was Greek in that movie. Like only Nia Vardalos, which she does an amazing job. The way you spoke, your New York accent, you look like a true, authentic New Yorker. And I wouldn't even think Greek because you have big, bright blue eyes. I'm like, that's a real guinea right there.
Well, I'll tell you something funny on that note. My first big job was a show called Down the Shore. It used to lead in Married with Children a long time ago. So it was about it was kind of Friends before Friends in a way. It was 3 girls, 3 guys who rented a beach house in the Jersey Shore on the weekends. When I auditioned for the show, I was fresh off the boat, full on Aussie accent. And God bless Alan Kirschenbaum, Phil Rosenthal, and the rest of the producers, Les Moonves at CBS. When I went in for the audition, I was the character. 100% I felt it. I had them on the floor, but I had a thick Aussie accent. There was a lady called Lillian Glass at the time who was the #1 speech therapist in LA. So, true story, the network paid for 3 weeks of speech therapy for me to try and work on a New York accent. So I went for 3 weeks, then they had me come back and test in front of the whole network.
How old were you?
23, 24. And then what happened was, when I went back to network test deal, and if you haven't done a network test deal, they don't do them anymore. The world has changed. But we used to walk in those rooms, and you had to have nerves of steel. The point of this story is that when I went in full New York, I did the audition, and as I was leaving, one of the network executives said, because the producers didn't tell anyone. They just said,
nobody knew, none of the producers knew that you were from
Aussie,
Australia.
No, and they didn't know I had the 3 weeks speech classes. So when they called the network back in the studio, because the producers were one thing, but then there's another 20 people in the room, the studio and the network. And as I was leaving, one of them said, at least we found someone from New York. And I looked back and I thought, wow.
What a compliment.
Yeah, well, I did it.
Bravo.
I pulled it. And since then, all those exercises I still use to do different accents because they apply to any linguistic changes that you need.
I'm really curious. Can you give an example of one of the exercises? Okay, let me try that. Well, my voice is a little fucked up right now.
You're from New York, so it's different. But a lot of Australians have a little tight
Maybe I'll
jaw,
reverse it. I need to reverse the New York, take the New York out of me a little bit.
Don't do that. But it's good for loosening up the jaw. We say in Australia, we say jaw, down, coming, over, after. It's about loosening up and rolling your R's. That's one of the exercises, which, hey, that costs $50.
Okay, so I want to know, what's another exercise?
No more.
No more!
Come to the classes.
You know what? You guys got to go to his classes. Do you know that he's actually holding classes in Greece to teach other actors how to learn his way of being genuine and authentic on camera? If you guys don't go to it, if you're fine being mediocre, that's fine with me. More roles for Athena.
Bravo, Athena. And thanks for the plug, by the way, yeah.
I really want to know, since you're from Australia, how did you transition to coming to America?
Well, at that particular time, my brother Kostas Mandylor became a very big, successful movie star with working with Russell Crowe on Virtuosity. He did Mobsters with Christian Slater, and then he booked an award-winning show called Picket Fences. Wow. So back in those days, I was a prize fighter. I was a boxer. My dream was at that point to become a world champion fighter. So he just did a movie called Triumph of the Spirit, which with the one and only Teddy Atlas, who I got to meet once or twice. What a man. And my dream was to come over and fight. So I came over. I spent 2 years in LA. I got a temporary contract under the late, great Jerry Buss and John Bay Rudy through my friend Eric DeConte. So they started having me go fight everyone in LA. So for 2.5, 3 years...
You were a fighter in LA?
Oh yeah, I fought almost every young prospect for those 2.5 years.
Wow.
I gym hopped from Freddie Roaches, you know, the Goosens, Paolina, blah, 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 blah. I went everywhere, downtown to the jails.
You know, I don't like to brag, but fuck it. You won 14 shows. I did a little research.
Oh, there you go. I lost a few too, but don't mention them.
You won 14 big ones. That's all that matters. That's all we got to remember.
And it's funny. It's a good segue. This is true. I was in my brother's acting class after 2 years with the late, great Janet Alhanti. And I was boxing every day, fighting for a contract. So John Bay Rudy calls me up with Jerry Buss back in the day, and they said, we have a fight for a contract on Sunday. You have to go downtown. You're fighting some Mexican dude called The Fixer. He was an ex-world champion, and he was a journeyman, and the way it works in boxing is you get tested to see if you can perform with the big boys. So this was Sunday. Saturday night, I'm in my little apartment, and an old dear friend of ours called Chris Stanley, who was part of Janet's class, comes to my house, and he says, what are you doing? I said, I'm nervous. I'm fighting The Fixer. He says, I'd be nervous too. There's a party in Malibu. The wonderful Mindy Marin, who was just starting her career at the time, was making a movie called Necessary Roughness. I'm not sure if you've heard of that movie. It was a pretty big film, a college football movie. So he says, come, just hang out, get your mind off the fight for a couple hours. I went to the party, and Mindy met me. She goes, oh my God, you're Australian. She said, are you an actor? I lied. I said, yes, I am. She goes, wait here, exactly like this. This is why you have to be active in your life. You have to be active, and you never know what's going to happen. You mentioned it earlier. I didn't know I was going to be an actor. My dream was to be a prize fighter and be the best in the world at that point. She went upstairs. She got the sides. It was a monologue. She gives it to me, and she says, Monday morning, you're coming to read for Stan Dragotti, who was the director. And I said, sure. So Sunday, I had the fight, and it was an 8-round war. This guy hurt me pretty bad. I got him too, don't you worry about that, but I was hurt, my jaw, my energy. I mean, I had a fight. And for anyone that's had a fight or has been an athlete, or if you've ever been hurt, it's the next day where you feel everything. So Monday morning, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't move. But I had the drive, I went to the audition, and ultimately went in the room, and I think I got a little lucky because I was very green, but I was so hurt, I underplayed everything. I didn't overact. And when I left, they said, that was really cool. You're not green. You know, you were composed, relaxed, and you threw everything away. And I said to Mindy Marin, I said, listen, I said, I'm a boxer. This guy just kicked the fuck out of me. I said, I don't know how to act. And she goes, it's okay. You got the job. Just make sure he fucks you up every morning before you go to set and do the same thing. So that's the story. That's how my life changed. So I quit the fight game at that point and focused on becoming a professional actor.
You know what, Louis? I gotta say, The Fixer really doesn't scare me because when the Greeks say "thaseftiaxo" and it's your mom coming around with that pantofla, I'm more scared of that.
I get you. No, I get you.
No, all kidding aside, your journey is so inspirational because you can be on completely one path and have your mind set. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what my life is gonna be, and then boom, something hits you.
That's life. As long as I say to people in some symposiums that I do is just make yourself available. As long as you're active and you're pursuing something, you'll find your way. Things happen. But if you're home on the couch doing nothing, nothing ain't gonna happen.
You have to be in the right place at the right time and let your blessings come to you. Mm-hmm. You can't accept your blessings if you're sitting at home eating potato chips.
Complaining.
Don't be the victim. Stop playing that complaining victim role. Stop eating the potato chips and go out there and just be seen. One moment, one day can change your life.
Yeah.
I was walking a Rodeo Drive, walking my dog, and poof, I'm scouted on The Bachelor, and now I'm shooting
That's
a show.
how it happened, huh?
Yes.
There you go.
And you know what's so funny? I'm going to tell you about that day. My friend Athena, she's walking with me. She's visiting from New York, like me. And I'm all depressed over, breaking up with my fiance. I don't want to come out of my house. And I finally come out and walk my dog. And Athena's like, Athena, take off your jacket. And I was like, I'm cold. She's like, take off your jacket right now. I'm like, I'm freezing. She's like, I just feel something shit's gonna happen. I'm freezing my ass off. Take off my jacket, walk my dog. And all of a sudden this guy, he's dressed in a nice suit. You know, I don't really notice people and I'm just minding my business. But when he called me out, he was like, excuse me, you look important. What's your name? Athena. Athena, are you Greek? I'm like, of course I'm Greek. And he's like, oh, I'm Greek too. I was like, I said in Greek, ne kala. And alos Elinas εδώ στο Rodeo Drive, which means another Greek here in Rodeo Drive. And he's like, yes, I'm. You should go on this TV show that I'm the host of. And I was like, what TV show? I'm like, this malaka's pulling my leg. I'm like, this liar over here. And my friend the whole time, she's like all antsy. And I'm like, why is this girl so antsy? And he tells me, yeah, you should go on this TV show. You'd be great for it. And I'm like, whatever, you know, we'll see. Θα δούμε. You know, so she takes me to the corner. Athena, do you know who that was? And I was like, who was that? And he's like, that was blah, blah, blah. He's the host. And I'm like, oh, cool.
That's how it happened.
That's how it happened. And yeah.
That's how life happens.
Moral of the story, you gotta be seen. You don't have to say shit. You just go out there. Maybe your life can change. Then I got another friend. He was walking into Topanga Mall and gets scouted to be Will Smith's body double. And he was in Men in Black. Right?
That's how it happens.
Exactly. I think
being active, yeah.
Exactly. And what are the odds that you and your brother are both great actors? And not just great actors, yeah, this guy's good. No, you guys are stars, movie stars. What are the odds that two brothers end up being big movie stars? How did that happen?
I have no answer. But he was, my brother Kostas, when he was working in those first years, I'm not sure how many people remember this, but he was voted like, you remember the People's Magazine, most beautiful actor in the world and all that? He won it like 3 years in a row.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
surprised you didn't win that.
No, I was never that famous at that point. Still now, my brother had some very, very high profile work at the time, which put him in that bracket. But I remember Sharon Stone on David Letterman. David Letterman said, who's the hottest actor in town? She goes, there's this new guy, Kostas Mandylor. So he really got up there. Plus he was a beautiful man. He was a model. Me, I was just smashing people's faces in for money back then. So, I didn't give a fuck really. That's the truth. Now, this is my life. I care more than anything in the world. But back then, what did I care?
For me, if I'm not creating and making film, I'm not living. It moves me every day to keep creating, making my own stuff. Because if you don't create what you want, you're just going to be working for what everyone else wants. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. That's all right. But in this industry, it's so difficult, especially since I'm new, up and coming. I can't depend on my big break. I can't depend on waiting to be discovered. I have to just make moves and do shit myself.
What's good about now is for young filmmakers, for people like any artist, it's a different world. It's a digital world. People are making movies off a cell phone. When I came here, there was no phones. There was no videos. There was no internet. There was no cell phones. You just had to fucking go and audition in front of these casting agents. And other than that, you couldn't self-produce. You couldn't make a movie. There was no Instagram. It was a very different world. But now there's an ability for anyone, like you said, so there's no excuses. You can do a lot now with very little.
So what is your piece of advice that you would give to someone who's just starting out?
Exactly that. If you're an actor, study the craft, get an agent, get in a class. But there's more to it now. I like to tell people, why don't you shoot a short film? Pick an amazing story, gather your best friends who want to do the same thing, gather a writer who has some sensibility, and shoot something, make something, perform something. Short films now are changing people's lives. So it's a different world, and you have the ability to really achieve.
It's really true, and you have to listen to people's advice. We have a great actor right here. He's giving you good knowledge. 30, 40 years worth of work. Why wouldn't you want to listen?
I'm not that old.
Right?
I'm just
But why wouldn't you want to listen? You have the god of filmmaking in front of you. You have all these YouTube videos of people who go and give you advice. And people just sit and they binge on all this content and they nod their head. But do you actually go make moves? Go make the moves. Go change your life. One day can literally change your life. And preparation, keep preparing for that right moment.
Correct.
You may not have one moment, right? You may not have, okay, X and X date. You may not have that date that you're going to perform, but you got to be ready because that time will come. And when that time comes, it's going to happen overnight. They're going to say, I need you on set in 24 hours, or I need you on set in 2 weeks. And like, oh shit, I've been eating all those potato chips. Now I'm fucked. Now I can't get the role. You better be ready. That's why I look like this right now. I'm waiting for my opportunity. I know it's Kevin, baby. Let's have a little intermission, but we're done with this. Oh, actually, I need that one. My bad. I'll pick it up later. Okay, so today we're going to play Hercules, Would You Rather? Is he nervous? Would you rather be a director or actor? You can only choose one.
Director.
Ooh, that was really quick. Why?
That's where I'm at right now in my life.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather eat souvlaki or gyros the rest of your life?
What's a gyro?
Okay, I guess it's a big souvlaki.
Well, it's a gyro, right? But souvlaki for me. Now, the question is to you. In Greece, I realized up north and in Athens, completely different. Kalamaki is not a kalamaki and a souvlaki is a kalamaki. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm going to tell you something. All right? I'm giving this free promotion over here just because I love them so goddamn much. Souvlaki King in Astoria, New York hits the spot. And I'm going to tell you why. All right? Because it's nice and juicy. It melts in your mouth. You know, I don't like no dry chicken. That's nasty. Nothing dry. You got to have it juicy. And then on top of that, it's even better than Greece. And I'll tell you why it's better than Greece. But Greece, everything's so tiny. It's so small. What am I going to do with that little thing? I want a nice big souvlaki, you know?
Well, since you did that, I'll give a plug. My man Thanasis in Monastiraki, the best kalamaki. I like them on a stick. I like the fries and the salad. That's my favorite Greek meal. I don't care about any of it. Moussaka, kalamakia. If it's done right.
That's right. Oof, and you put
I'm starving.
Oh my God, you're making me hungry. I started it though. Okay. Would you rather explore space with Neil Armstrong or travel to Rome with Julius Caesar?
Rome with Julius Caesar.
Why?
Julius Caesar?
Okay.
Rome?
You know,
Back in the day? Heh.
I gotta tell
That's
you.
where I'm at.
I can so see that for you. I saw a really great movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Napoleon. And it was amazing.
You enjoyed it?
I did. I truly did. And the whole time, all I could think was, I'm like, this is great acting. This is a great movie. But damn, I can so see Louis Mandylor playing this role.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, because you got this strong presence. I can't wait to insert all these little clips so you guys can really watch the acting.
Was that him?
You got some balls coming in here.
I just want to understand what I did to offend you.
Me? No, it's not me. I can give a fuck about what you do. But they don't want you making this movie. They say it's disrespectful.
Who's they?
The Italians, back east. You're making a movie about them, you don't know who they are?
The movie's fictional. It's not about anybody in real life.
Except Sinatra, right? Listen now. I ain't here to tell you what to do, but here's the story. My friends asked me to deliver a message, and I delivered that message. Anything beyond that, I got no part of.
How do I deal with your friends?
You want my best advice? Make a different movie.
And if I don't want to make a different movie?
Oh, well. Then eventually you're gonna have to deal with them directly, Al. And when that time comes, and it will, above all, be a straight shooter. They don't fire warning shots.
I'm like, okay, I need to study that. You're fucking great. I need to study what you're doing so I can do the same for my own roles. It's not just, okay, looking up to you. It's more like, how can I learn from this person?
Well said.
Would you rather live in the Matrix or enter dreams in Inception?
Dreams in Inception.
Oh. Should I ask why?
I don't know why. It just sounds better. Sounds
okay.
cooler.
Would you rather fight with Billy the Great, Hope from Southpaw, or fight with Rocky Balboa?
As in, have a fight with them? I'll take the first one. I think I can beat the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, then which movie would you rather be in? Fighting.
Fighting? You mean? Oh, well, Balboa, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked with Stallone once, though.
Really? Doing what?
I did the last installment of First Blood, which was called
yes.
Last Blood. Yeah.
Yes, I actually saw that on your IMdb.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that slip my mind?
Yeah. He was, he's the best. He's a legend.
How was it working with Stallone on the film?
Oh, well, I only had a 1 day's work with him. I did the opening of the film, but he was amazing. He's a legend.
Would you rather be thrown into an island with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or thrown into an island with the cast of the Hunger Games?
Cast of the Hunger Games.
Ooh, okay. I'm feeling that. Yeah. Would you rather live in a zombie apocalypse or a post-apocalyptic world?
Zombie apocalypse.
Okay. Would you rather do comedy or drama?
Either or. I only have to pick one?
Yeah, you can only pick one for the rest of your life.
Oh, drama.
Man, that's a hard question for me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to answer this? Shit, good thing it's your question, not mine.
Right? Not easy.
Would you rather watch The Mummy or watch Lara Croft Tomb Raider?
Neither.
I'm not even going to ask why. Would you rather watch a sporting event or watch a romantic movie?
Sporting event.
You're like, fuck yeah, fuck that romance.
No, I love romantic movies, but I could only pick one.
Only a real manga. Okay.
I'd rather watch the UFC all day long.
Okay. Yeah. It's a guy thing. Would you rather have... Who made this question up? Would you rather have to sit on someone's lap every time you're watching a film or have to sit on the floor with no pillows?
Floor with no pillows.
Why?
I don't want anyone next to me while I'm watching a movie.
You want to focus.
That's it.
Would you rather be skinny and hairy or fat and smooth?
Skinny and hairy.
Tell me why.
Because I can shave the hair and be skinny.
Oh, that's a good one. I like how your mind thinks. All right.
I like how yours thinks with these questions.
So you have two really Greek parents at home. Most Greek parents, they say there's no way that my kid's gonna be an actor. You're gonna get a real job that makes you real money. Because you know how they are. My parents, they told me, dreams are just dreams. That's why we have them and that's why we're here. No, I don't believe in that. I believe you can have anything. But what did your parents say when both you and your brother decided to be an actor?
My parents were pretty cool, especially my mother. Real quick, my father, after I started working in the industry for a couple of years, he says, "What are you doing?" I says, "Oh, I'm acting." He says, "What are you doing for work?" So that was my dad's mentality, which is true. I went, "What do you mean what I'm doing for? I'm acting." "Yeah, do you have a real job?" So my mother, on the contrary, when I was in Australia, she gave me the greatest advice. She said, "See the world, travel, experience, and go get it." And she's the one who sent me to LA to pursue my boxing career. She said, "Don't get married, don't have kids, don't do any of that now. You're 20 years old. Go see the world, son."
That came from a Greek woman? A Greek mom?
My mom's a tiger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, you're so lucky.
I am. She sent me on my way. She said, "Go see the world. What are you going to do here?" Wow. Go, and I love her for that.
Do you regret not getting married as a boy? No. Oh, okay. All right. You have a beautiful career.
Yeah.
I love that. That's kind of where I'm at in my life right now.
Married as a boy, why would I want to do that? To me, it's just it's just a foreign concept.
Well, for me, I want my dream more than I want love. I want my dream more than anything in the whole world. And I also realized that I'm so romantic that I end up getting so caught up in only focusing on my partner. So that's why I'm like, I got to be very, very dedicated to my craft and only laser focus on my dream and my goal. Like, I don't even want to think about kids till after I win my Oscar. And I say after, not if, because you make your own destiny. And I believe that anything is possible. It doesn't matter how many years it takes. I will do this till I die.
Unless you have the right partner. I'll add that. I believe that if you have the right partner, which is a rarity, then it's an asset. That's tough to find.
I got a piece of advice from someone once in Greece. He said, if you want to make it to the top, you have to do it alone, as far as a partner. But I don't know if I completely agree with that, because I do think that if you do find the right person that really believes and passionate, because I'm very fucking passionate. So if I find someone who's very passionate like me, and we both have the same goal, same drive, same motivation, that we're gonna go to the top together. But chances of that are very slim, and I believe that anything is possible, so you never fucking know. But yeah, I think that you just have to meet the right person who's in your field, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that advice is incorrect. There's a quote that I never forgot. There's a reversal to every law in the universe. So that guy saying you need to do it alone, nothing's written in stone. There's a reversal to every friggin' law. Yeah, I think that's incorrect. I think there's no one way to do anything.
I agree completely. I'm told so often in my life that it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. You won't find this, Athena. You know, Athena, that's a needle in the haystack. Well, I'm the needle in the haystack. Why can't I find it? I believe wholeheartedly that I can create whatever I want in my life.
And also, to add to that, that's what I meant earlier. That's a journey of the individual. So even if you don't get that, you're going for it, which makes you active, and it puts you in positions for things to happen.
That is brilliant. Very well said.
So I feel it's the truth.
It is the truth. And so often you have your destiny. And I also believe you create your own destiny and you're the author of your own story. You make whatever you want happen. And the thing that you were writing that you wanted to happen, maybe that wasn't completely it. And it just took you that different path for a specific reason, because that was actually what was written. And you created that yourself. If this is even making sense to you, it makes sense in my brain.
No, it does. It's like with my boxing. I wanted one thing and I got another. But my activity created that situation and I had a decision to make.
You also did soccer as a kid.
I did, yeah. I was pretty damn good.
You were huge in soccer, I saw.
Yeah, I was pretty good, but I never committed to it, you know. I was a bit of a... We ran nightclubs and stuff, and I was never on my full game, but I was still kicking ass. And I always say to myself, just for 1 year, I wish I committed to show what I really, really could do. But I kind of fell out of love with that sport when I was a young kid. And
that's okay. You know, you can fall out of love with anything, you know, whatever you're doing in life. And it's just, there's stages to your life.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people think, oh, I'm supposed to meet this person for this reason or that reason, but you never really know the actual lesson that was to be learned. What was your aha moment when you knew, I'm going to be a great actor, this is my destiny?
I think when that guy kicked the shit out of me and I booked that job, I just knew I remember thinking, I am in the right place right now. That was a big moment for me. You know, I realized, I became a professional actor. And that's not easy to do. That's one of the steps that are most difficult. Getting a SAG card. You can't get a SAG card without working. You can't work without a SAG card. I remember that. I'm like, well, how the fuck does that work? So achieving that goal and getting my card and becoming part of the union and working professionally and getting paid for it, making a living for it, I was like, this is what I want to do. And funny enough, I started studying after that movie. Wow. So I was just sitting in my brother's class watching and, you know, whatever, but after Necessary Roughness, I made a conscious decision to become a professional.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you get into directing if you were always focused on acting?
But that's the funny question. That's the $1 million question. The acting happened, as I said. I went on an audition and I got the job, but I was always a filmmaker at heart. I'm an illustrator. When I was a child, I had a moment with Marvel Comics where they wanted me to apprentice for them because I used to like to panel. And I got in contact and cut a long story short, I never completed the task they gave me, but I was an illustrator, a storyboard artist, if you will.
Wow.
So years later, as I fell in love with the business, I really started watching the directors when I was working as an actor, picked up a lot of things, and after I did a pretty cool show called Martial Law, back in the day, it was a hit show with the one and only Sammo Hung from Hong Kong cinema back in the old days, Jackie Chan's brother, so to speak. The greatest crews, the greatest action sequences, and the one and only Andy Cheng. I think he's one of the best in the world, this guy, and I learned from these guys. Soon after that show, I made my first feature film. On film, I cut it on a moviola. It's called Jimmy Bones, and I'm about to release it, by the way. It's been like, 30 years later, and I have a director's cut that I'm working on now. Wow. I've digitized it, obviously. So that was the first step into the directing. and I knew it's what I wanted to do. But then I was fortunate enough to be busy as an actor. So then I just started directing in between moments.
What do you love most about directing?
There's the whole process. I like working with actors, man. I love helming and seeing these amazing thespians bring their stuff to it and then molding it, setting up cameras and creating nuanced moments that reflect life. And to try and recreate a moment and make it look to the world like it's happening for the first time, that's what directing is. And there's an art to it, and I'm fascinated by it.
What do you think sets you apart from the other filmmakers?
Well, you know, look, I aspire to be as good as the greats. There's a lot of wonderful and amazing, talented filmmakers that I want to be like. But yeah, I separate myself from the bottom tier, no doubt about it. Preparation, passion, energy, knowledge, and spilling fucking blood out my eyes to make things good. Yeah.
I really admire that, because that's exactly how I feel in anything that I do in my life, where I put my blood, sweat, and tears into something. And it's funny, you always hear people complaining how, oh, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. And in my head, I'm like, how hard did you work? Did you put your blood, sweat, and tears into this? If you have a day job and then you go home and then you just hang out, like, no, there is no days off. You shouldn't be sitting down, hanging out. You know, if you want this so bad, you got to be working your ass off, because the next person is working 10 times as hard as you are. So that's your competition, and you got to make sure that you match up and you just keep working hard for what you want, and, you know, you make it happen.
It's true. Like nowadays, in between working, I'm constantly watching movies. I'm studying directors' choices. And a big thing is, for me, is Japanese animation. From when I was young, it's where I get most of my ideas for coverage from. That, you know, are a little different, make things a little different. Yeah, so you always kind of have that door of knowledge open, even when you're not working, and, you know, building the craft for the moments at hand that are coming. So yeah, it's a process of continually growing, you know.
All right, so now we're going to do Medusa's Truth.
You're my go-to on the look, by the way.
we are ready for it. Okay, but you have to be...
Medusa's Truth.
You have to be completely honest.
Okay, let's go.
What does the word malaka mean to you?
I find it offensive. Growing up in Australia, it had a different meaning to the Greeks in Greece. They throw it away every 10 seconds. And when I'm with Greeks from Greece, I get it and it's fun. But I personally don't like to say it, because it has a different meaning. You said that to me in Australia, you'd have a problem, you know? Yeah, it just was different to me. So what does it mean? It means you're a fucking idiot, doesn't it? Am I allowed to swear on your show?
Yeah.
In case that gets edited, it means you're an imbecile, right? Yeah.
Wow, no one's ever told me that before. Because, you know, I'm around these Greeks. I never said malaka before until I go on.
After I hear it the third time, my back goes up. I'm like, enough, you know?
Wow. Yeah, we say it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, not really we, you know. Yeah. Everyone in Greece, malaka, and there's so many different ways to say it.
It's kind of funny, and when you're with real Greeks, I get it and I go along with it, but at some point my back goes up.
For those of you who don't know, malaka, everybody knows that word, because every time I meet somebody, the first thing that they say is malaka, malaka, whatever. Everyone knows that, because that's the first word you teach somebody. But I never actually spoke it in my household growing up. Nobody has ever said it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I didn't get exposed to that word till I went on the TV show for 6 months. And I was supposed to be filming for 3 months. I ended up living in Greece for 6 months. The amount of cigarette smoke and malakas around me. Well, saying the word malaka.
Well, I get paranoid. After the 10th malaka, I'm thinking, is he joking or is he calling me a malaka? And I'm like, bro, I don't get it anymore. It's like, am I a malaka? Not a malaka. And that's how they answer. Am I not a malaka? Then it's a malaka to malaka. There's a little comedy for you.
It's so funny. I was talking to my friend, and in front of an American. I was talking to another Greek in front of a non-Greek. And then we were saying malaka a few times. Like, malaka, ne, hello malaka. And then the American guy is like, what's this word malaka mean? And I'm like, how do I explain this to a non-Greek? And I was like, you know, it means eh.
Is that what it actually means? I thought it means you're an idiot.
Well, in my mind, it means eh.
But correct me if I'm wrong. You can offend someone by saying you're a malaka.
Well, it depends how you say it, just like acting. Because, okay, we're going to put an invisible person here. You could be like, malaka. Or you can be like, ela malaka, malaka. So, like, it just has different meanings. you know? But yeah, okay, noted. Do not say malaka around Louis Mandylor.
No, it's fine. It's just that, yeah, you won't get it back.
No reciprocation here.
Yeah.
How do you deal with people who just need to be set straight?
As you get older, you get a little more forgiving. And I try just to avoid them nowadays. I try to avoid them, but, you know, in all of our lives, there comes a time where you've got to make a stand and stand up for yourself. So, you know.
I used to get really upset when people would offend me, and it used to make me so angry, but then I realized it would affect my own life until I realized the one who remains calm has the power. And that's my motto at this point. But there's some times where people just deserve it.
That's the reversal in every law in the universe that I said before.
Yeah.
It's always good to take the high road, but sometimes...
Yeah.
What can I tell you, right?
Sometimes...
That's what my dad used to say to me. Because
here's...
Which means if you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to smack you one.
Because here's the thing. If you let people walk all over you by sometimes staying silent's good, but then other times, if someone keeps poking at you over and over and over again, you got to let them know, like, you got to stop. And you gotta say it in a way where, like, bro, chill, like, this is too much. Okay, what does the word loyalty mean to you?
Without loyalty, you have nothing. And loyalty is hard to come by.
For me, if you're loyal, like really loyal, you have me for life. Like, you gain my heart for life. Because so often when I love somebody, I'm not talking romantic, I'm talking in general. You know, when I love somebody, I love you with my whole heart. So I will give you everything. And that's my loyalty. That you need something, I'm gonna be there. You know, you're going through a hard time, you can't pay me right now, but I'm loyal to you. I'm gonna still work for you for free because I fucking love you. And I know that this is a hard time right now. I know that you're gonna repay me one day. I know that this is all, you know, this is repay me in loyalty back, basically. And so many times I see that there's tests. There's tests. And you think that someone's so loyal to you. And when you really need someone, you really need them there, they're not fucking there. When my mom was dying, right? Everybody around me said, whoa, I love Thea, I love your mom, she's the best. Now my mom's dying in the hospital, it's Easter. Who shows up on Easter dinner? Nobody shows up, that's the loyalty. For me, I don't gotta talk to you for years, but I'll still be loyal to you. You need me, I'll be there even if I haven't heard from you in 5 years. And it's so rare to come by loyalty, and that's why real recognizes real, and I see a loyal person very quickly these days. Sometimes I could be fooled, but when I find my loyal team, I make sure to keep them close to me, and I will always be good to them no matter what.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I can go on and on about loyalty.
Yeah.
On and on and on. What's the craziest, when you first moved out here to LA, when you were in your 20s, what's the craziest dating story you've ever had when you moved out here?
Dating story?
Yeah. When you first moved, like 25,
oh,
26.
Boy. Well, one does come to mind, funny enough. I used to play soccer with Rod Stewart and the wonderful Lionel Conway. I played with the Exiles. And we used to go drinking at an old place called Tequila Willie's up in Manhattan Beach. I met this really cute girl one night, and she took me back to her apartment. And it was late at night, and I had like 5 too many whiskeys.
Who hasn't here in LA?
And this is actually a funny story. You know, young kid, and, you know, we were hot for each other and whatever. And we get in, and, you know, we're settling into her room, and it was pitch black, and I said I need some light, you know, and I went to hit the light, and as I went to hit the light button, she said, don't! But I hit the button, and what I didn't realize is she lived in a garage, and the garage door started coming up, and all the plates and all the dishes and all the artwork started falling off as, yeah, I'll never... He's laughing. It's a fucking true story. I still tell my friends. She started screaming, and she started throwing things. I destroyed her pad, basically. The dog... I'm like, what the fuck is going... The whole walls, and I didn't realize it was a garage. Plus, I had a little wild turkey in me, but there's one for you.
Oh my God. By
the way, I ended up getting a taxi and going home, obviously, so it ended up being a horrible
night. So no
night.
nookie for you that night?
No nookie.
I love it.
It could have been after the nookie. No.
Okay. Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, I think I'm probably one of the most impatient human beings on the planet. And I don't like bullies.
I would have to agree. I'm impatient too.
I'm too impatient. I have to constantly... Yeah, my friends call me Switch, because I switch a lot. But I'm trying not to in my older years, obviously.
Yeah, but it's actually, that could be your superpower. Because I think it's my superpower, being impatient. I'm patient for the right things. For certain things, I'm patient. But then for other things, for example, for me reaching towards the top of my goals, I want to approach every day with full urgency. I need it. I need it. I need it.
Well, I'll tell you this. I just worked for my dear friend, Mr. Damon Hillen at Hillen Entertainment, and I made 2 World War II movies for him, both in 10 days. One was
Very
in 10
impressive.
days and one was in 12 days. And that obsessive, impatient characteristic I had really comes in handy for directing because, I mean, I don't even want to go to fucking lunch, you know? So I'm doing one shot after another. People were dropping, you know? My pace is pretty fast, but that is an asset for me for what I want to do with my life, so it works for me, you know? I hate wasting a second. Hey, we only have a certain amount of seconds on this planet, you know what I mean? And why waste one of them anymore?
That is so crazy you said that because that resonates with me on another level. You have no idea. I super focus. It's called laser focus on anything that I'm doing. And that's how I wrote this entire book. You'll never believe how long it took me to write this book. Of those days, I didn't sleep. I maybe slept an hour and a half a night. Because once I get into something, you can't break me away. Like, I won't even pee. I won't even get up. I will not go to the bathroom. As I cannot. I won't even eat. I won't do nothing. I won't, like, if I took a nap for an hour, I won't even get up and wash my face or brush my teeth. I just go, keep writing. Because I have to finish it. That's how I write my scripts. I have to finish it. If I just leave it, blah, 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 no. I'm not going to take years to complete shit. I want to do it now. I don't got no time to waste. Life is short. My mom went into a coma at 53 years old. Every moment that we're living and breathing, we have to utilize and make the most out of every second of our day. Can't be farting around, sitting down and doing nothing. So, yeah.
Bravo.
You guys, if you want to change your life, you got to get this book. It's a good one. A Greek guy once told me that. Yeah, it's crazy. I was walking down the street and he hit on me and I wasn't having it. So he just couldn't understand why I didn't want it. I was just like, bro, go away. And he still kept following me into my hotel. And then he takes out his phone and he shows me a picture. It was a naughty picture. And he's like, come on, try it out. It's a good one. I'm like, it's a good one. Go show that to another Greek girl because it's not me.
What a confident young man.
I know. What is the strangest or craziest rumor that you've ever heard about yourself?
Yeah, we'll pass on that one.
So I'll answer that one for myself. I love my Greeks, but sometimes they be doing some kutsabolo stuff, which is, big mouth stuff. I end up on The Bachelor for 6 months instead of 3. I'm an American citizen, and I really pushed my limits here. I'm not supposed to be staying in Greece without a passport for that long. So I end up almost getting deported after the last day. I send my ass back to America. I just win the goddamn show. I think I'm going to have the love of my life come back with me or stay and enjoy Christmas. Something. Katimazi. And then I get shipped off back to America with no man, no money, nothing. High and dry. It's fucked up. And then to top it off, I go on Google, because I'm on Google every fucking day, with these Greeks, with a new fucking story about me that's not true. And they said that, I put a filter. I took a video with myself here in LA, and then it was a filter with red hair. And they're like, η Αθηνά άλλαξε όλα. Έβαψε τα μαλλιά της κόκκινο, είναι έγκυος έτσι γιατί έφυγε Ελλάδα. For you Americans out there, it means Athena changed her hair. She's so upset over losing The Bachelor that now she has red hair, and now she left Greece because she's pregnant with Alexis's baby. Bruh. I never said nobody's bedroom in Greece. You kidding me? You're lucky. I know. I didn't do nothing. Yeah, you all asking me. Έκανες sex με Alexis? No, I did not. And this is my testament. I did not. Give me a lie detector test because I will pass with flying fucking colors.
Bruh.
He already knows.
Bravo.
So that's my story. Carry on. If you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do with your time?
You know, spend a little time making my favorite meal and saying goodbye to the people that mean something to me, I guess. Without trying to be a smart ass, that's what comes to mind. Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
So what else do you do?
I don't know.
It's not much time.
I don't know what I do.
That's why you should live your life like that is the last day, so you don't waste time, you know. And, you know, the great Neil deGrasse Tyson, they asked him, do you want to live forever? And he said, why would I? I'm motivated because I know I have an expiration date. And I wake up every morning knowing that that date is slowly coming closer, so I try my best to achieve as much as I can before I expire.
That's exactly how I feel. Exactly how I feel. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We have to do everything that we want when we have the actual time to do it. Don't waste a single minute of your life. It's just too precious. I'm really curious to know, what do you do to prepare for a role?
I've tried a lot of different techniques. Sometimes I do nothing and just, I mean, when I say nothing, I mean I don't do the extensive preparation that I generally do. But I've realized for me, preparation is everything. So, you know, breaking it down, voice, posture, walk, cadence, rhythm, just try and make everything unique, but it has to appeal to me, you know, it has to work for me. And then you bring it to set and you let the director mold you if he needs to and adjust things. But I think prep is everything. I've tried loosely prepping and kind of finding it as I go, and there was one movie where it worked real well. Preparation is everything, really owning it, knowing it, and then having the ability to not think about anything when you're on set, just, you know, to be. Because if you're not prepped, then you're thinking about things, you know.
Do you also prep for your auditions the same way you would prepare when you're actually given the role?
Oh my God, yes. I learned early on in my career, and I'll say a thank you to Paul Johansson, an old buddy of mine. We're at Crunch Gym boxing. We used to box me and this guy a lot, and he says to me, I want to ask you a question, man. You know, how do you prep for auditions? And I was like, oh, you know. He says, yeah, well, you're not a professional. Called me on it. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, well, fuck you, man. He says, you're an actor. You want to go in there like a pro. You want them to see the shit. You want to give the shit. So work on it, prep on it, and go in there like it's your fucking last audition ever, and Spielberg's in the room. And I said to myself, when I went home that night, I said, this guy's right. And that day, everything changed. When I get an audition now, I prep the hell out of it. Yeah, man, come on.
You just blew my world.
I mean, when you think about it, it's pretty obvious. You want to go in there with all guns blazing.
Yes.
You don't want to go in there searching for shit. You want to show them the magic. And that comes through hard fucking work.
You know what? Someone gave me a really bad piece of advice. So I was doing all this work, preparing exactly how I would prepare for the role for the audition. And then someone close to me saw me doing it. And he was like, what are you doing? This is just an audition. You don't need to do all this extra stuff.
Fire him.
Right? That's some bullshit. That's how I feel. I want to go
How
into
do you think
everything.
these big directors feel when you walk in there? I want to see a professional. So how can you say it's just an audition? Exactly. The audition is the be-all and end-all to getting the job.
How do you feel about actors not being off book?
Again, it's like, you know, if you're not prepped, you're just not a pro in my books.
So you also do coaching for actors.
Yeah.
So we mentioned before that you're going to do it in Greece.
My dear friend Konstantino Mouroulis and myself will be commencing in the new year some really, really cool acting classes in Thessaloniki and Athens.
Have you ever dealt with negative people that said it's not possible, you can't do this, and didn't believe in you?
Every day. It happens every day, doesn't it?
How did you handle that?
Well, when you, like I say, you get older, you learn things. When you're younger, you know, it affects you. But if you have some guidance with good friends, family, fathers, mothers, etc., you learn that pretty quick. Don't listen to anyone. Just do your thing.
But what happens when it's the people closest to you in your life?
Well, then you make them not close to you.
I completely understand that because I've done that. The people closest to me were the biggest naysayers, the biggest negative Nancy's
What's
in my
that
life.
wonderful quote from the Bible? Oh Lord, protect me from my friends, my enemies I can handle.
Oh, hell yeah.
I open one of my movies with that quote. It's a gangster love story in Australia. Yeah.
I want to see that movie. What's it called?
Jimmy Bones.
Jimmy Bones.
That was the first one I made on film 25, 30
Really?
years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I love that. What's your favorite movie that inspired you to create your own movie?
Wow. the movies growing up that just made me fall in love with cinema. There's a few. Papillon, Cool Hand Luke. I really liked the Kurosawa era as well. That old cinema was just amazing. And I actually, on the last movie I made, I homaged his movies with smoke and silence, and just really got artistically. Just took a real chance. And there's a couple of old movies. I could name off 100, but those are probably the most influential when I was a child. Cool Hand Luke and Runaway Train, Midnight Run. There's a bunch of great movies, but as a child in Australia, Papillon I loved because it was just so much silence and there was so much nuanced performance, and Steve McQueen was the fucking man, and Dustin Hoffman, etc. But if you haven't seen Papillon, it's a long movie, 3.5 hours, and I think there's 47 minutes or 50 minutes in the movie where not a word is said.
Really?
Yeah, that's a film. It's not your cliched over the shoulder, let's make it a fast edit. Nowadays, that's why I love Napoleon, 3 hours plus, and, Ridley's obviously a legend and one of the best. But I like it when not only the directors but the studios break the rules, man. I'm so sick of these cliched over the shoulder master shot. There's no creativeness. So when the movies take a chance, I think it's wonderful. Now, even if it doesn't work, it still can be really riveting to watch. Even if it's not the best movie you've ever seen, you get something from it that's different.
Zeus's lightning round and we're done. Rambo or Terminator?
Terminator.
I would choose the same. What's your favorite food of all time?
Kalamakia, my Mediterranean diet, and spaghetti.
Mine is spanakopita.
Is it?
It is. I'm
Okay.
obsessed. I always wanted a nice pefera, Elinida pefera, to cook me spanakopita. And I cook the spanakopita for my man. And if he doesn't like it how I like it, which is very good, so I can't find that actually happening, I'm going to go straight to his mom and ask him, listen.
How do you do it?
Yeah, exactly, and learn from him. What is your dream road trip destination?
I've always wanted to get a big RV and drive across America.
What's the weirdest thing you have in your closet?
I've got some pretty, let's say, eccentric clothing.
Really?
For a dude.
Next podcast, where you're
I'll
most
wear
eccentric.
something. You got it.
Okay. What's the worst lie
Well, I've got these.
Oh, I love those shoes. Yes, I'm a shoe girl.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
For a dude, I'm a shoe guy,
Oh, I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
If you were an ice cream flavor, what would it be?
Chocolate,
Oh, why chocolate?
my favorite.
Okay. I think I'd be birthday cake.
Yeah.
Because I'm a splash of surprises.
There you go.
What's
just sweet.
What's an activity that you do not find fun at all?
Waiting.
I agree.
When I go out and I'm doing something and then you see that worker just taking his time, it's like, bro, we've got a line of people here. Can you go a little faster? I mean, don't
That
stop
drives me crazy.
Yeah.
That literally, you want to drive me nuts?
Yeah.
That'll do it. Like, my mind just going bonkers inside. It's like, well, you
Yeah.
better hurry the fuck up. I'm from New York.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas and everything. I just love Bill Burr. He's my favorite right now. He always has been, actually. And he's got this thing about Christmas. Fuck Christmas. I want to drive my car into the fucking tree and fuck these fucking pigs.
Man, you should have seen me in one of my first jobs back in New York. I worked at a clothing store. I went from nothing to head cashier real fast because I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Well, this guy's ringing up the same shirt. I just did fucking 5 customers. I'm like, Athena, you go into the front. I'm like, thank you. I don't like the back. What's one thing you're most misunderstood by?
When you give love to someone, sometimes they think your vulnerability is weak, but your vulnerability is your strengths, you know.
I can second that completely. I've been misunderstood my whole life. And people look at me, they see one thing. And I just met someone last week at a restaurant, and he was like, you are not going to pass me up by me a second time without saying hello. And he's like, oh, your name's Athena? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh. I'm like, you don't believe me? I'm like, here's my book. He's like, oh, wow. He's like, I gotta say, I completely stereotyped you. You just look like another LA girl that just looks pretty, and that's it. No substance. Mm-hmm. But that's not me at all. I have so much more to offer than looks. And when people get to know me, then they understand. And everybody tells me this from the time I was a kid. Like, wow, I didn't think I was actually going to like you. You're so fucking cool. You're so real, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, fuck it. Be yourself, because everyone's always going to have an opinion. This was so fun. Thank you so much for coming down.
You are a firecracker, and you need your own talk show. That's what I'm telling you right now. So thanks for having me, and I Really had a lot of fun. And by the way, thank you for helping us shoot the promo before. We did
Yeah.
shoot it with the wonderful Athena.
I am so excited to see what you have in the works and to watch more of your films. He's got a lot of great things coming up. Make sure you check out the films that he has, support, watch them, let us know what you think. IMdb has a whole list of his films if you want to see more of what Louis done. It's a whole mouthful. You can't even say them. Can you tell our viewers where we can find you?
Of course, Mandylor Official on Instagram.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, like this video, comment down below what was one thing that resonated with you most in this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.